everyone, I'm Meenakshi and I welcome all of you to Tathastu. In this video, we are going to discuss about Global Biofuel Alliance. So our today's topic is Global Biofuel Alliance. Why it is important for us? Because at the recently concluded G-20 summit, this Global Biofuel Alliance was launched. So this Biofuel Alliance was launched at the G20 summit, and apart from that, this biofuel, as the world is moving toward a change, as the world is moving toward cleaner energy, so biofuels are really important in present era, in present century. That is what it makes our topic important. Now we will be learning about biofuel as well as about this Global Biofuel Alliance in this video. So before beginning, these are the courses which are offered by Tathastu-ICS for all of you, which is MSLV. It specifically targets your mains examination. Then we have NCERT module, you can register for it. Then there is PSLV, which targets your prelims examination, and it will be launching very soon. And this is philosophy optional, and new batch will be starting on 15th of September. So you can get yourself enrolled. And apart from that, you can also inquire on these phone numbers and visit this address for further inquiries, and you can also visit the Tathastu's website to check about these courses. I hope you have understood this. Now let's begin our topic, let's begin our lecture, which is about Global Biofuel Alliance. But before that, we will understand what are biofuels. So if we talk about biofuels, as the name suggests, they are fuels. So biofuels are basically the fuel which are derived from this biomass of plants and animal waste. So they are derived from their source. If we talk about the sources of this biofuel, their source is this biomass of plants and animal waste, and it is commonly produced from these are the examples. It is commonly produced from corn, from sugarcane, and animal waste like cow dung. So this is the definition of biofuels, or in simpler terms, if we have to understand what are biofuels. So in simple terms, these are the fuels which are derived from the biomass of plant and animal waste. Now since their sources, these are the sources, and since their sources are renewable sources of energy, so these fuels come under renewable energy because their sources are renewable, unlike fossil fuels which are non-renewable sources. So I hope this much is clear, that what are biofuels, what are the sources from where we can derive the biofuels. Now these biofuels are classified into four categories: first generation biofuels, second generation biofuels, third generation, and then we have this fourth generation biofuel. We will have a quick glance at what are these first, second, third, and fourth generation biofuels. Let's see about the first generation biofuel. Now these biofuels have high carbon content. So although these are biofuels, but still they have this high carbon content, and they are made from edible items like sugar, corn, starch. So these are the sources of first generation biofuel. But as we advanced and moved towards the second generation biofuel, they have this less content of greenhouse gases, which are GHGs, which are greenhouse gases. Content is less than first generation biofuels, and these are made from leftover food crops like rice husk, wood chips, etc. So this is a difference between first and second generation biofuels. Now as we advance more and move towards this third generation biofuel, it is carbon neutral. So we basically started from high carbon content, then less carbon content, and this third generation biofuel is carbon neutral. That means the amount of carbon dioxide which is emitted is equal to the amount of carbon dioxide which is sequestrated or restored or stored, and they are produced using microorganisms like algae. Now as we advance more and move towards the fourth generation biofuel, they are made from these genetically engineered crops, and they are carbon negative. So we started from this high carbon content, and gradually by this fourth generation we have moved to this carbon negative biofuels. I hope this differentiation is clear. Now let's move to another thing. So India have its own national policy on biofuels. Let's have a quick glance on this also. Then we will be understanding what is the significance of this biofuel alliance. So if we talk about the national policy of this India on biofuels, we have this target. This is one of the most important feature of this policy, that we have this target of 20% blending of ethanol in petrol. Now earlier this target was to be achieved by 2030, but now we have to achieve this 20% blending target by 2025. Other than that, we have this 5% blending of biodiesel in diesel, and the target year for it is same, it is 2030. So this is one of the most important feature of this national policy on biofuels. Now moving toward this policy have some other features as well: to develop a national biomass repository, to have a thrust on advanced biofuels. We started from first generation, which had this high carbon content, and gradually we have moved toward this carbon neutral. So this policy have this active thrust on the advanced biofuels. Moving towards, we have the categorization of biofuels: basic biofuels, and then we have these advanced biofuels, second generation. We have this third generation algae based biofuels, and then we have biofuels for fourth generation made from genetically engineered crops. Also, this policy talks about setting up of national biofuel coordination committee. So these are some of the important features if we talk about these biofuel policy or biofuel policy of national policy of our biofuels. And this biodiesel production to be encouraged from non-edible oil seeds and using cooking oil, short gestation crops, and development of supply chain mechanism. So basically it focuses on this blending of petrol as well as this biodiesel production to be encouraged, as well as a repository to be set up, and this classification of biofuels. I hope this much is clear. Now moving towards the significance of biofuels. In the beginning I said that apart from this global biofuel alliance, biofuels are really important in present era. So let's see the significance of biofuels before moving towards this alliance. First of all, it have these environmental significance. Now there's nothing new in knowing that climate is changing, so it will definitely help us fight climate change. We have lot of air pollution, the temperature, the global temperature is rising, the global temperature is increasing. It will help to mitigate these emission, to less this target of carbon emission. So it will help fight climate change. Decarbonization of transportation sector, it will help in the decarbonization of transportation sector, because we have this target of blending ethanol and then blending biodiesel in diesel. So it will help to reduce this carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide gases from the emission, and it will definitely decarbonize our transportation sector and help towards these cleaner fuels and cleaner energy. Now next, these are one of the most important significance. These have these geopolitical significance. These are our environmental concerns. These are our environmental significances. Apart from environmental significance, this fuel also have this geopolitical significance. How it will reduce dependence on these OPEC and OPEC plus countries to import oil, and definitely help country like India as well as other lower and middle income countries to reduce their import bill, because the majority of oil, like 85% of crude oil in India is imported. So if we have this domestic source of clean energy of this biofuel, so it will help us to cut our import bill, reduce our fiscal deficit. So lot of things are there. Apart from that, this reduction of militarization of energy supply route. So China has this string of pearls policy where it is trying to make its dominance in the Indian Ocean region. So it will help basically, if we have this, as I said, domestic source of clean energy, then this militarization of energy supply route will reduce. So these are the significance, the sum of the significance. There's a lot of things which can be said, but these are some of the important significance of biofuels. Now let's move towards the alliance, Global Biofuel Alliance. Now this is not the first alliance of as such. We'll see why. It will be second India-led multilateral platform after ISA. And ISA is our International Solar Alliance, which was launched by India in COP20 in Paris in 2015. So this Global Biofuel Alliance mirrors the International Solar Alliance. It was piloted by New Delhi and Paris in 2015 in COP21 in Paris only, to bring clean and affordable. So this, as you can say, the name is International Solar Alliance. So it was related to clean and renewable, this affordable solar energy within the reach of all. So this was the first such initiative, and this Biofuel Alliance is second such initiative. I hope this is clear, because these are very small fact in which you may get confused during your exam time. You may remember, yes, this is the first thing, first such alliance which has been launched by India. No, India has before this, India has launched this International Solar Alliance in 2015, and it is second India-led this multilateral alliance. Now, if we talk about objective, if we talk about India's position in the fight against climate change will be strengthened by this, that India is taking such big initiatives against this climate change and mitigating the impact of climate change. So it will be strengthened by establishment of this Global Biofuel Alliance, which will thrust India to the forefront of climate action, which will actually make us this leader and push us to the front in mitigating the negative impacts of the climate change, and will present us as a world leader in front of the world, that we are taking different initiatives to promote clean energy, affordable energy, renewable energy, and to stop this climate change, to combat this climate change. Now moving towards, it will bring together the biggest, we are talking about the Global Biofuel Alliance only, it will bring together the biggest consumer and producer of biofuels to drive its development and deployment. Why? Because Global Biofuel Alliance is being established by India, Brazil and US, and these three countries together account for 85% of global ethanol production. So definitely it is bringing the biggest consumers and producer together, as 85 this India, Brazil and US comprises for 85% of global ethanol production. And now this aims to position biofuels as a key to energy transition and contribute to jobs and economic growth. If a new sector is developing, it will create new job opportunities. So it will, apart from this mitigating this climate change effects, it will also provide these job opportunities, employment opportunities to the younger generation. And apart from these countries, these are the core member. India, Brazil and USA are the core member. The other initiating member of alliance are India is there, USA is there, and we have this Brazil is there. Apart from these three countries, the other are Argentina, Bangladesh, Italy, Mauritius, South Africa and UAE, and Canada and Singapore are the observer countries. So core member are India, Brazil and USA, and these three countries account for 85% of global ethanol production alone. Now if we talk about other membership and endorsement, other members also can join the Global Biofuel Alliance by endorsing the foundation document, and its membership is also open to the countries which are not part of the G20 group. The membership is open to non-G20 countries also. So this is about how it was launched and what is the core group, which countries, which are the core countries. Now moving towards this significance, we just saw the significance of biofuels. Now we will see the significance of this alliance step by step, why it is important for us. Now first of all and first foremost thing, it provides this higher degree of national energy security. Now one thing which we saw over here was this militarization of energy supply route and too much dependence on OPEC and OPEC plus countries, which are Organization for petrol exporting countries. So we have seen number one significance is this national energy security, because we will have this domestic energy supply. Right now we import 85% crude oil from other countries. So we will have this national energy security. If we have this domestic supply of energy, then we will have national energy security in an environment friendly and sustainable manner, unlike the fossil fuel. So first and foremost significance is this, that it will provide us this security of energy, and it will supplement these conventional energy sources. Number one significance. Moving towards increased technology transfer. So since this is an alliance, so these technology developments can be transferred, the benefits can be shared by the other member countries as well. So number two is this, that it will help India to move faster in compressed biogas sector, which is CBG, and third generation ethanol plant capacities and mobilizing funds. So it will also help in this technological transfer and help us to pace faster in this compressed biogas sector. Now moving towards blending of petrol with ethanol. So we have this target of 20% by 2025. Now Brazil, which is a core member, it has already achieved this mixing at 85%. So it can be advantageous. We can take help from them, we can learn from them what all technology they have used, what all ideas they have used. So it will help us to achieve this target quickly, which is our 20% by 2025. Now next significance is reduction of fiscal deficit. It will reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels. As I said, we import our crude oil, 85% crude oil, so we are dependent a lot on it, and it increases our import bill. The major bill accounts for this energy sources and these fossil fuel, these crude oil, and it will help meeting the energy need of India's urban and rural population, because we will have this our own domestic supply of energy. Now moving towards, India imports over 85% of its crude oil, as I said, so it will help in reduction of fiscal deficit, because this import bill will be reduced. It is gradually building capacity to produce from such items as crop stubble waste, because how do we produce biofuel? What are the sources of producing biofuel? Plants and animal waste. So we can produce biofuel from that. We don't need to import it, and if we don't need to import it, our import bill will be reduced, and it will ultimately help in the reduction of fiscal deficit. Now let's see the other significance. Introduction of the flex fuel vehicles in India. Now for the introduction of flex fuel vehicles which can run off, so what are flex fuel? Flex fuel vehicles are basically which run on these blend of petrol and ethanol. So we can easily, if we will achieve this target of 20% blending, then we can introduce these flex fuel vehicles as well, and we can fast pace them. We can introduce more such vehicles, and it will ultimately help this clean energy, cleaner environment. So these flex fuel introduction will be fast paced. Now flex fuel vehicle which run on a variety of fuel blends from 0 to E85. Now if we talk about Brazil, which is one of the core member of this alliance, they have this 85%, although they already they have achieved this 85% blending, and apart from this they have these 85% of their vehicles which are on road. They are these flex fuel vehicles which run on these blend of petrol and ethanol, and these petrol combination containing 85% ethanol and 15% of petrol. These are the ratio for these flex fuel vehicles. Now India can utilize this alliance and Brazilian technologies, because Brazil is way ahead of all of us. It has already achieved this 85% blending target, so India can utilize this alliance. They can use they can learn from Brazil, and they can use these Brazilian technologies as well, and it would result in considerable decrease in emission if we switch to these flex fuels vehicles, and huge saving on India's import expenditure. So one of the most common significance, important significance is this import reduction in import bill. Now let's see other significance, promotion of biofuel export. Now currently if we talk about Brazil, US and India, we are 85% producer, with US produce 55% of it, Brazil produce 27%, and India produce right now we just produce 3%. But now being this core member of this alliance, we can have this first mover advantage and we can become this significant exporter in future. So it will help, this alliance will help in promotion of biofuel export. And lastly, employment opportunities, increased investment in biofuel sector, a new sector would be emerging, so it will definitely provide some great employment opportunities for the younger generation. So one of the significance is this employment opportunities. Now with new initiatives, with great things come great challenges. So this alliance will also face some challenges. So let's have a glance on what will be the challenges. Number one is technological transfer. So we have seen that this is significance. What can be the significance of this alliance? That the technology can be shared. If a country has advanced technology, it can share that technology, that thing, with the other member countries. But that is also a challenge, because many countries maintain this technological secrecy. They don't want to share their technological advancement with another countries. And specifically we can talk about USA. It shows its reluctance in sharing technology, and that can be a major hindrance for this alliance, because US is one of the core member of this alliance. Now challenge number two, the geopolitical differences. So we have seen the absence of Russian president and Chinese Xi Jinping from this summit. They didn't attend this summit. So because any platform which is led by Western nation, they basically oppose, China and Russia basically oppose those platforms. So they haven't attended. The reasons may be different, but they haven't attended this summit. Now apart from that, due to the Chinese debt trap, now since USA and India both are the core member of this alliance, so China may oppose it. China may be reluctant towards sharing the technology or other things or endorsing it, and Russia also may not endorse it because of USA. So these geopolitical differences can be a hindrance in the path of this global alliance. And apart from, many countries are in this Chinese debt trap, so China may force them not to join this alliance. So this is about the geopolitical difference or the challenges which this alliance can face, because many nations are in and China's influence over their foreign policies, because they are in debt of China, and the membership expansion may encounter the Chinese hurdle. Now if we talk about funds, the next challenge, the funding mechanism needs to be structured. For alliance to be successful, we need funds, and we need the funding mechanism, that it should be structured in a proper way, because there are a lot of countries. As of now we only have some countries, but there will be a lot of countries who will be willing to join it. So this funding thing should be structured. But USA being in recession, and our global institution like World Bank and IMF facing resources shortage, will make the financing for this particular alliance, for our global biofuel alliance, a significant task, a significant challenge. Then we have this import restriction on biofuels, and if we talk about India only, India has put import restriction on the import of biofuels. So currently we have these restrictions on import of biofuels in national and it was imposed in this national biofuel policy which we discussed right now of 2018. Now these import restrictions are a major challenge for development of global biofuel market, and maybe India will have to change this inward looking approach of restricting the import of biofuel. So it is one of the challenges. Now moving toward last challenge, it is about the environmental concerns. Now according to a report, Global Bioenergy Partnership, making 1 liter of ethanol from sugar requires 2,860 liters of water. water. So water is a finite resource, and making only 1 liter of ethanol from sugar requires this much quantity, a huge quantity of water, and the rising demand for biofuels may alter the growing crop pattern, and it may affect the agricultural basket as well, and this could discourage the dry and water scarce area, particularly of the African region, to join this alliance. So this is a major environmental concern, that making only 1 liter of ethanol requires a large and humongous quantity of water. So the dry areas where they have this deficit of water, they may be avid to join this alliance. So these are few challenges which will be faced by this Global Biofuel Alliance, and I hope you found this session helpful for all of you. If you find it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.